was my very first live stream. So today I just want to kind of continue on this, and that is basically talking about social media and how social media really, in my humble opinion, kind of destroyed relationships people have with each other. How people make friends, how people actually interact with each other, the level of respect they actually give to one another. There's great aspect of social media and technology. Obviously, I'm using technology right now to communicate with the world. I'm talking through it to you, to people that are actually gonna show up and see what I got to say. But it is a fair point to make that there's a lot of I don't know how to frame it properly, but I think we've lost a lot of connectivity with one another, and especially younger generation now suffers from inability to connect, to talk, to date, to do something face to face. Anxiety. They're so in their head, worry about everything that is actually posted online, that it just basically determines their entire personality and everything, right? And that's what I'm talking about. I used to go to concerts back in the day, and I sound like a boomer, right? But I used to go and enjoy them. I used to be in the present moment. Okay, you were able to feel it, that experience of what was happening. And unfortunately, more and more, we're losing this. Okay, we're losing interactions when we go to the bar, when we go to I don't know, park. People just walking with cell phones, and I catch myself doing the same thing sometimes. But then when I catch myself, I'm like, that's stupid, because it feels like I'm missing what's happening around me, right? I'm missing. So I see two people popped in. Hello, Andrew. I'm talking about social media and how this basically kind of is robbing us. Social media is robbing us intellectually, kind of. We have. How's your day going? All right, good, good. How are you? How are you, Andrew? Yo, yo, yo. What we talking about? We're talking about social media and my position on how this is really deteriorating, the interpersonal connection between people. And of course, there's positive to it, right? I know that it's inevitable, but at the same time, it's kind of degrading, and it's killing. Dogs or cats? Obviously, dogs. Okay, I have two. I just buried one. I had three. But anyways, I need to stay focused on this one. So yeah, I am really thinking. Hi, Eleanor. I'm thinking a lot about it. I actually missed times before internet, which is crazy. I used to love going to other people's, my friends, knocking on the door, say, hey, what's up? How you doing? All that. And now everything is just cell phone. Our heads are down on the screen. We don't see one another, right? We go, when I say we, I'm talking in general, right? I'm just kind of generalizing this. And what I miss is this. I'm talking to you guys, right? But I would much prefer to sit with people in my room, or in this outside, or in the bar or something, right? And it's kind of ironic. That's the point I'm trying to make. I don't know if you guys agree, but it's almost like we are more connected technologically, but less on the personal level. Like, there's just, hey, everybody. I see more people popping in. Thank God, and I'm sorry. I'm not sure what comment, what is that about? But anyways, yeah, it's just, I've been talking to a lot of people about this. I've been talking to people about social media and how this affected their life. And, it's kind of funny how people have tons and tons of friends on Facebook and other social medias, but they don't really have a great friend to call, to connect with, right? when they really need something, when they really want to go and hang out, everybody's busy because everybody's just busy with another screen, with another app, with another distraction, right? And distraction it's a big problem. And I'm not talking that when you're driving, that's obvious, right? I'm talking that when you are not really in the present moment, you're just constantly consuming, content, or you're not really seeing people and talking to them and paying attention and listening to them. Do you agree? Who agrees? Let's see if I'm talking to the void. Do you guys agree that social media is actually kind of deteriorating our ability to connect with each other, and we are more kind of primed to just produce as opposed to listen and carefully acknowledge another person? Katie say yes. All right, cool. That's right. Raphael. All right, everything is fake. Yeah, exactly. That's the point. That's a good point. No one would disagree. Oh, you'll be surprised. There's a lot of people so obsessed with this digital era and there's very little done about it, right? AI is the antichrist. I don't know if I'll take it that far, but I would say that AI is definitely killing creativity, is killing honesty, effort. And people just produce. I talked a little bit yesterday about it. Yesterday when I was streaming, yesterday was my first stream, and I was a little tipsy. I just needed to kind of loosen up my nervous system because it's kind of odd to talk to a phone, right? Like I said, I would much prefer for you guys to be here, to be somewhere where I can talk to face, right? I'm kind of introverted extrovert, if that makes any sense. But yeah, it's kind of I'm reminiscing a little bit, thinking about times when people actually would go to a concert and remember or just enjoy the actual event as opposed to just holding a phone, which makes no sense. Please don't do that. Going to a concert and just looking through the lens of the phone, I mean, it's absolutely stupid. It's just so stupid because then what you're gonna do with this, if you really wanted to see this concert through the lens, you could just go the next day and watch it on YouTube or something, right? Let me read this. Why don't you make your previous video private? I don't know why would I do that. I'm not ashamed of being on the phone and making mistakes, being vulnerable. I'm not sure what the context of this is. I don't need to be. I want to actually do public speaking, to kind of acknowledge my own strengths and weaknesses. Oh, I just spilled my juice. How nice. Okay, it's hard to read. You only have 3 videos that are public. Yeah, because I just started. I'm kind of reviving this YouTube channel. I used to have one before, and now I'm coming back. Look what a mess I just made. I'm like a baby. let me hide this from the screen so I don't have to feel like a kid. But yeah, I'm kind of restarting because now finally I have time to do all this, and I miss talking to people. I used to do life coaching. I have interest in different things and psychology, and it really, I'm trying to read and talk. I'm new. I'd like to hear what you have to say. Oh, thank you, William Barry. You must have had other videos before. Yeah, I do. Actually, I what is it called? What's the word? I'm missing a word. I didn't delete them. I just declassified them or whatever it's called, because they were completely different category. It's completely related, non-related. Delisted. That's it. That's the one. Yeah. So I didn't want to start all over, so I just kind of did that. Thank you so much. So, anyways, going to the point. Yeah, I miss it. I miss times when people actually did talk and respect each other. Not keyboard warriors. Like it's just unbelievable how disrespectful people are nowadays. It's tempting, but it's weak. It's weak to just insult people, because very few people would tell you this face to face. What they say, online, they wouldn't tell you face to face. Where I'm from, if I would insulted somebody like this, I would get slapped, especially when I was a kid, right? Now, kids are completely off the chain. And I get it, I get it. They get freedom. They can do whatever they want. I'm trying to make this place, as cliche as it sounds, I'm trying to make this place better than I found, as they say. I sound Italian, Spanish, or South American country. Well, I'm none of it, but I'll take all of it as a compliment. And if you stick around, I'll tell you where I'm from. You have one good use for AI. When it makes capable, we can use it making another season of multiple seasons of what? Firefly, so we can have a closure. Well, there is, like anything, like there is hairline. Okay, well, yeah, hairline. Yeah, I'm balding, I'm 45 years old. Yeah, but it's fine. That's the thing. I flow with this world. I flow with life. I don't care. I don't get obsessed, about things like hair or something like this. Nature is doing its thing, and that's it. I do what I have to do. Okay. Yeah, exactly. When people can good, people were polite before when they get slapped around a little bit. Yeah, exactly. When I was a kid, like I said, I was respectful, and whenever I happened to, misbehave, I would be punished for that, right? And then when I grew up, I stood up for whoever was trying to mess with me, and and ever since, things like that didn't happen. But I just, I don't get offended very easily. People just cry and get into war online. This is weakness to me. You have to have a strong mind, and the strong mind comes from understanding that not everything that you think is true. Most of it is not. Okay. Anyways, I mean, I'm not gonna dive deep into punching people. That's not the point here, nobody have to do that. Nobody should do this. Okay, I think it's all about respect, and that's what we're missing. There's so much chaos on this planet, and like I said, I started from social media, and that's like, I'm your favorite streamer. Oh my god, I'm a new streamer. Yesterday was the first stream. Are you Illuminati? What do you think? I mean, question like this just deserve. I'm a guy with the stain from the apple juice. No, I'm not Illuminati, and but you can ask those type of questions. You show the level of IQ I'm talking about here right now. Okay, Eastern European it's closer. Yeah, you're really digging for that nationality. I'll give it to you. Don't worry. Oh yeah. But yes, I'm going to talk about many different things on this stream, because a lot of those topics are sitting in my head for many years. Lithuania? No, it's not that. But anyways, I'm gonna play a game of where I'm from right now. There's a lot of topics, and I'm looking for people that are interested in conversations that actually are meaningful. I'm tired of nonsense. Okay, I'm tired of nonsense. I'm tired of shallow you know, provocative conversations that people trying to start here and there. It's life is too short to waste my life and time and energy and just getting hooked on that. It's absolutely unnecessary. Yeah. So I'm trying to read it, but those comments make no sense to me. Okay. I guess you guys talking to yourselves, to each other. That's cool. Yeah. So, like I said, I hope we will kind of find a balance again in this world, and we won't be just so digitalized and desensitized from one another. Okay, your granny just said that I'm providing poor content. Okay, that's good. That's very nice. I appreciate that. I actually like that. That's cool. Tell your granny cheers, okay? That's awesome. I know you belong to the troll category that I really don't care about. But yeah, keep going. We love you. Oh yeah. Awesome. Phenomenal. Tell me more. I would love to see that. All right. I'll be kind and I will share with you where I'm from. I'm from Poland. Okay. Right on the border of the conflict of Ukraine and Russia. There's a lot going on. So you were circling around, that area. But to be honest, I have absolutely no problem with nationalities and people. I don't care where they're from, as long as they're nice and friendly. Hello, white man. Okay, I don't know why we need to emphasize that I'm white, but hello, I guess. You know how it is when you're sitting here and you're talking to people, right? And there's a lot of people coming and they're just trying to jab something like your color, this and that, and trying to provoke you. Absolutely don't give a shit. So yeah, I was actually initially thinking about a different subject today, which I'm deeply passionate about, and that's rooted in psychology, and that's about thinking. And I see a lot of people have anxiety, and a lot of people actually express their anger in that form. They go online and start just like trolling, attacking people because they cannot control themselves. Like they're trying to show that they want to be cool, or they feel very insecure, so they go and try to attack somebody and stick it to them. Lech Wałęsa, no shit, William Barry, you are the champion. You just cracked the code right here, man. I'm old enough to remember Lech Wałęsa. And you know what? At this point, we are just talking to each other right now because the rest of the chat is completely like puzzled. Yeah, Lech Wałęsa. He was kind of a leader, during very important time of kind of transfer of power. I was a kid, but I remember all this. Yeah, he was a leader of the party called Solidarity, which ironically is a very nice name. No, I don't feel attacked. As you're calling me white man. No, not at all. It's just to me, it's just so childish and shallow. But you like it, so as long as you like it, I'm fine with this. And I'm not white. If you really pay attention to the skin pigment, you will not see white. But that's just on the side note. So, like I said, initially I wanted to talk about thinking and how people suffer from anxiety and all those mental problems because they believe everything they think, and that's not it's not a fact because thoughts just come and you don't know what you're going to think. They just pop So you're basically responding to your thoughts. You do not produce them, right? Okay, I'm falling in a trap of reading comments. So I'm trying to really express myself at the time reading this, but I don't know if you guys agree with that or not. I am as white as you, by the way. I couldn't care less. I really couldn't. I really couldn't care any less. It doesn't matter. Once you follow my frequency, you understand what I'm trying to say. I really don't care about white, black, purple, whether you have social security number or not, what's your name, where you live, what's your religion, what's your sexual orientation. It's absolutely nonsensical. Okay, it's just a kind of thinking along the lines of group thinking. Okay, just delist your mind from all these limitations. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Exactly. And this is where your vocabulary is ending. Okay, that's interesting. That's now you're talking. Now you said that you know that if I don't care, I care. Well, you don't because you're not mind reader. I am. There's a difference. Okay, being aware of something doesn't mean that I care. I'm just showing you that I don't care. In fact, oh, hang on. I'm trying to follow. Do I care about my hairstyle? I have to really learn how to do those streams because there's so many different things that people throw at me right now, and I don't know what to focus on. So I guess I just gonna have to kind of ignore it, and whoever likes will listen, and whoever doesn't like, which is like some trolls here, they're not gonna give any energy anymore to. Will just fall off. But I'll answer the last question. I don't care about my hair. It's just, about my hairstyle or what's left in my head. Yeah. So going back to the subject of thinking, I used to really believe in every single thing that I was thinking, and then I did a lot of research, and I did read a lot, and I did talk to people a lot, and I educated myself about it, and I wanted to understand different perspective for why am I feeling the way I'm feeling, and then I got to the point of realizing that everything starts with a thought, right? You thinking, and then you feeling, and then you acting, and like some of those people here in this chat, that's very obvious that they do not even know what they're thinking. They're just blabbing things out. There's no moment of reflection, no moment of even trying to be respectful and kind and all this. It's just like those words mean less. Yeah, exactly. So I wear glasses because I have to, I have to wear them. So I'm not pretending to be intellectual. If your IQ is telling you that I have to be intellectual, and for that I need glasses, then well, I got nothing for you. That is fun. That is just so fun. You would like to set up appointment for what? What would you like to set up appointment for? Tell me. I would like to see what you want to set up appointment for. Anyways, yeah, let me talk to people that actually deserve some attention here, and ignore foolishness. You can be foolish. Oh, I'm sorry. I moved my tripod. I got caught up in this. Yeah. So let's see. I'm just going to be sitting here and watching what you guys have to say, and I'm going to pick out the next person that has intelligent comment. So let's see who this is going to be, and I'm going to talk to this person. Let's do it. Hmm? Mm-mm. Oh, wait. Let me scroll down. In therapy. Okay, William Berry. I'm going to address this. You see, that's so cool, because you can actually openly say something like that. In therapy, they had us list our fears and write about each one and tell a close person about each one in depth. Exactly. That's the thing. A lot of our problems with our thinking and our psychological health comes from not necessarily inability, but a lack of people around us that we can talk to and share. And because, again, going back to something like social media, or this like low level interaction, or just trolling and all that, we are afraid to be vulnerable, because then we're going to be called gays. People are going to tell that we are stupid, or we have big foreheads, or we have glasses, and that's why we're trying to be intellectuals, like really amoeba level of IQ, it's like mitochondria. Like, that's just what it is. But it's true. It's true that when you share with people, you feel lighter, you feel better, because how much can you contain, right? Like, how much? But here's something that, if you do go to therapy, or used to, something that I could definitely recommend is to really create a distance between what you're thinking and how can I put this correctly in words? Like, make it by default, if that's helping at all, that you don't take every thought seriously. You just like have to filter all of them. Like, whatever comes, and the way you know it is just because you feel emotions. If you feel emotions, strong ones, like fear or anxiety or anger, like, pause and think, okay, do I really have to suffer those consequences of those thoughts? Is the thought really true? Like, is it really true? No, you didn't even think the thought. The thought is thinking you, because you don't know what you're going to think in 5 minutes from now, or even 2 or an hour from now. So we're always responding, right? Let me see. There's comments flying by. Yeah. So whoever is trying to troll, I don't care. I don't care, because this is just childish. Like, I don't pay attention to this. I'm reading this because I have to read something. Let's see. Okay, Charles, say hi. What's up, Charles? I'm talking here about everything and nothing. A little bit of psychology, a little bit of different things, and some people trying to provoke me and attack me because that's easy, because whatever. It is what it is, and I don't really care. It's just fun. It's just fun. Now I'm really seeing what's out there live. I was asking about the nationalist movement in Poland. I would love to answer if if I was really into it. I would probably tell you more. but I've distant. I just right now there's a distance between me and politics in general. It's just period. Okay, those subjects are so, excuse me, they're so charged. I just don't mess with this, period. Okay, politics are just, there's such a sensitive subject that I don't really take any sides. I don't think I can at this point tell what's happening. Okay, so I'm really willing here to have a conversation with the right crowd, but trolls are welcome. Believe me, I want to answer to you. So you keep writing. You just, some of them I know are jokes, and some of them are just pure stupid. Yeah, I'm just kind of killing time here today, having. Yeah, he was hurt. Yeah, I'm crying, man. I'm crying. I'm dying inside. Like, I have nothing else to do, dude. I had problems in my life that the boogers, like, you wouldn't offend me. Grow up, kiddo. Yeah, I mean, my country was destroyed so many times. It basically 3 or 4 times disappeared completely from the maps. That was even before World War One, and then there was one and two, and post World War II, there was a lot going on, and of course, even all the way to the times when you were talking about when Lech Wałęsa came to power, that was still very, very. Yes, I'm Polish, dummy. I said that. I said that many times already. Like, are you fucking deaf? Now I'm really gonna be scolding you, because that's just the next level of stupidity. Finally figured out. Like, how slow are you? Yeah, intelligence makes some people scared, so they attack. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly right. I feel very sorry for this kind of people, because if they don't know, they can just politely ask. Okay, they can just be part of the group. There's really no need to be an asshole. I'm not superior. You are just making yourself inferior, and then one day you'll realize. Hopefully, I mean, some people grow, and some people just get older. Okay, you are probably in the second category. Yeah, exactly. Trying to troll, but they are blind, deaf, and dumb. That's the best comment of the evening right now. Exactly. Yeah. Face to face, he wouldn't say that, because he would get just slapped. Like a kid. So I was laughing because when I served in the military 25 years ago, and I came and I was so cocky too, right? And they got me, they straightened me out real quick, and I was never provocative, but as a kid, 20 years old, I was there stupid, right? But they really took care of that part of my character, and ever since I was on the right side. Mhm. No, it's not mandatory. That's the first logical question you asked today, but it's not mandatory anymore. It used to be. My brother actually had to go for a year and a half. I went for a year, and I got my ass kicked real bad. I was I guess that's the equivalent of Coast Guard. That was Coast Guard, and it was kind of Coast Guard / Special Forces kind of deal. So I got ass whooped, so bad. And ever since, I kind of saw the world differently. Yeah, Poland went to a great meat grinder quite a bit. I remember hearing from my aunt. She was telling me story that they're just mind-boggling. How people were treated during war. It was just, I was getting goosebumps. It was absolutely unbelievable to hear these things. It was way before my time, obviously, but yeah, it was pretty nuts. So, and as a matter of fact, I'm here. talking to you guys. Like I said, this is my second stream ever. I used to do YouTube, but I would just record regular static videos, and that was more geared towards business. And I kind of, you know, put this on pause many years ago, and I'm doing this for pleasure right now. And I want to see what's out there. I want to see how people interact with each other. And I guess I'm making a lot of mistakes because I'm interacting with those comments, but I'm trying to pick out the people that are truly interested to have a dialogue. So cheers. Yeah. Yeah, I have a big forehead. Yeah, and I have very few hair left, and I have glasses. Yeah, wow. I'm making fun of myself right now. Hang on, because my comments are. Can I sub? You sure can. I mean, you don't have to ask. You can sub, or you don't have to. You know it. You don't have to ask. But you're allowed. You're allowed. You're allowed to also grow. Okay, mentally, physically. If you're spiritual, you can also grow. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. William Barry, you're still old enough to have caught the tail end of some bad times. You apologize for trolling. I don't know if you do, if you don't, but we'll see. We'll put you. We'll give you an opportunity. Okay. We'll take your word for it. Yeah, I did caught. Actually, you're right. It's amazing because when I was a kid, you don't choose where you are born, right? And I remember it was still like an end of it was in 80s, and I remember when there was nothing or very few things that you could purchase. You have to go to the store and you have to wait. It was like long ass lines of people waiting for something, for food, for groceries, for anything. And I still remember when my mom put me in line. There was like a long ass line outside the store, and like she gave me a list, what to buy or what to look out for, because she said she would come back. And I had to wait for hours and hours, and she could go and cook a dinner for my dad, or lunch rather, and then come back and then check on me. And yeah, that was pretty tough. It was very limited supply of stuff coming in. And now, now Poland is unbelievable. There's, since 2002, I want to say, we are part of European Union, and the amount of money and development and just pure expansion, it's impressive. I'm new to this channel. Give me a brief synopsis of what you are trying to express on your YouTube channel. Oh, that's such an insightful, beautiful question. I don't know yet. I'm finding my voice. I'm finding my people. I'm finding the rhythm. I'm finding everything. I have multiple passions. Primarily helping people with a multitude of things. Trying to make them feel better psychologically, physically. I love physical activity, pushing weights and keeping up. I can do what I can do, but it's more about a kind of humanistic, if that's the word, I guess, direction that I'm gonna go towards with this channel, and help people as much as I can, if that makes sense. And troll can troll. I mean, like, I don't care. If people just express themselves and they think this doesn't reflect on who they are, which is kind of dumb, right? Because everybody can see what they say. And when you really feel so bad about yourself inside, what's inside reflects outside, right? Garbage in, garbage out. That's just really what it is. And so it takes some real, I guess, character to restrain yourself, to say things that make sense. Um, oh, I would like. Okay, I gotta read this comment. You would like to know where when I stand politically. What is your opinion about Trump? Okay, well, here's the thing. I used to work for cruise lines. Okay, one of the things that I did, and they taught us something, and that is not to talk about certain subjects. And I'm going to try to maintain this here because I don't want to derail this channel or this stream or what I think. That's why I'll tell you, I'm not going to even pick whether that's Trump or someone else. I'm not going to go into politics. But the politics in general, even not just on a national level but international level, is complete garbage. It's not about focusing on resolution of problem. It's just focusing on blaming one another and distracting people from what's really happening. So it's pointless to get involved, because if you get involved, you're really burning a lot of mental and emotional energy for no reason. You can't change it. You get involved for nothing, and you're just basically helping them. So I'm sorry. I respect the question. I just won't answer because I don't have a good answer. If I did, I would just stir up the pot, and people would just get all worked up, and that's not even point. That's the point I'm trying to avoid. So that's exactly right. Yeah, William Barry, you're really on point. And please come back. I would love to talk to you more. I'm trying to create a stream that's a good, healthy place to converse and spread the good vibes. That's it. That's really what it is. Yeah, I mean, please subscribe. I never ask people to subscribe, but when I read, something like that, I really want that. Yeah. So there you go. Thank you, William. Please subscribe. So whoever wants to subscribe, do it. Whoever doesn't matter, because it's all about the right people with the right vibe. I don't go for quantity. That's another thing. It's all about mass right now, right? You have to have tons of streaming programs or apps or friends on Facebook, but they're not real friends. It's all about quantity over quality nowadays. And I have about maybe 5 friends. Okay. And on the surface, it sounds ridiculous. But when I say 5 friends, I mean, you're going to earn it with me, and I'm going to earn it with you. It takes time, years. And there's people that would call me, and I would just buy a ticket, and they need me, I would buy a ticket and fly, or if they needed to be defended in some way, I wouldn't even think. I would give my life for them, because I know who they are. They earned it. When I was in trouble or in danger, they were there for me, simple as that. Now we have keyboard warriors and trolls. They think they're strong because they can write stupid stuff, right? I keep on poking at it because it is silly. What's my thought on Gabby Horn? None. I have no idea who that is. I'm so sorry. I'm ignorant to most of the if that's political. I really live in my own world, if that makes sense. Okay, I talk to real people on the street. I talk to neighbors. I'm trying to live old school life, and I'm trying to help people. All right, deal with what they deal with. They don't have to. You see, we're inviting a lot of problems and chaos into our heads because we do focus on a lot of things that we don't have to. If we didn't focus on those things, then we wouldn't actually have that much burden in our heads. We're just addicted. It's just what it is, right? Like on a political level or some kind of socioeconomical levels or something like that, I used to be there, and I got worked up. I got really worked up. I got angry. I would just boom, slam my fist. Okay, if somebody was in the room would probably get the fist right in their face. Um, if somebody was trying to attack me, attack my position, but that's just stupid. That's absolutely stupid. So it's really good to cut yourself off from all of it, all of it. There's so much coming into your head, and if you think about it, before this invasion of all this social media and everything and information and the amount of information going at you, our life was much slower. We could actually respond. Now we are not responding, we are reacting, and that's a problem. That's why you have first responders, not first reactors. Talking to people, they run to William Barry. I'm really checking on you all the time. Oh, I lived in a small town, very small, very very tiny, and beautiful, right by the water. But I did travel world extensively. I'm guessing he lives in urban center of Poland. No, you see, again, wrong. There was a very small town, very tight. Upbringing was tough. I'm not gonna lie, it was tough. There was you need to know how to you need to know how to defend yourself. You need to know how to stand up for yourself. Yeah, and then when I was 20 or sorry 21, I left and I started to travel, and I worked for cruise lines. I traveled to, like, I don't know, probably 50 countries and 300 islands, and I guess that gave me the exposure to people and different cultures and how they think and what they think, and I was fascinated. I didn't speak any English. I know that all those years later I still make mistakes, but my English is better than, let's just say, somebody that just speaks only English. I mean, let me say that again. The fact that I'm speaking two languages is better than someone else's one language, and I think that actually, I just had the realization that gave me that view on the world, like that I see people from different angles. What did you do on the cruise ships? A lot. I'm not gonna lie. When I started, I was 24, and I started, and I was just cleaning. I mop and bucket, and I was the happiest guy in the world. 24 years old, a lot of beautiful people, a lot of beautiful women. I traveled to Brazil, Argentina, beautiful places, a lot of Caribbean islands, and I didn't speak English. I didn't know what the hell's going on around me, and I was happy. I didn't need even language to understand people. I just understood. That people are people, and we help each other. And then after that, once I picked up a little bit of English, I started working in restaurants, and then later on, when my English was good enough, I did work for shops, like gift shops, and then later I moved to Europe and I worked for a pharmaceutical distributor and colleges and universities. Language is a very complex thing. I know many multilingual people, like, I think they are superior to native monolanguage English. Okay, so somebody got butt hurt. The same flexible language can. Well, I don't know if you got butt hurt, but I'm not flexing anything. I'm just speaking, because if I start speaking in my language, to byś kurwa nic nie zrozumiał, co do ciebie mówię, nie? No to zamknij pizdę i słuchaj, co mówię do ciebie, kurwa, po angielsku, nie? So I just told you something and you didn't understand it, and I know it. And if I continued, you wouldn't know anyway, right? So that's why I'm speaking in English. I'm trying to be, and I want to learn another language because it's fun. I'm just trying to use this for something to be productive. Okay. Well, I got nothing for you, buddy. Exactly. Exactly. Aero, I can Eros Aerostro. I cannot pronounce this. Cannot read this properly. But yeah, if somebody needs to say something like that, like superior, inferior, and it's just like throwing those things, usually, yeah, exactly. Always, that's an ego trip. You sound Russian to me. No, I already said I'm from Poland, but maybe you weren't here. Hmm. Um, You asking me questions, then you attacking me with some silly things about Polish is part of which language is family. I know which language, but for you, I'm going to do exception. I'm going to tell you go to Google and Google it. I go do some work. If you deserved for me to share with you, I would, but you don't. So you're still in a timeout. Okay, once you get out of timeout, I'm gonna tell you. Okay, LOL. Okay, I would love to believe that you're really actually laughing out loud. Slavic. Why am I reading you? Okay, I have a question for you. Do you need to kick your ass out of here? Not because I really care, but you're spoiling my group here. Answer me. You got one chance. You want me to boot your ass once and for all? I can do it right now. No need? Okay. Maybe there is no need. There's no need. I don't care about you and what you say, but I care about what people actually read and trying to communicate with me. Yeah. So that's the story. I started with social media, and here we are talking about different things. What do you think about kwas, the bread drink? I don't know. I don't know if that's Polish. I am guessing. I don't know what this sounds like acidic thing, but is it like an acidic thing that you really, or it's like fermented or something? I'm not too sure what that is. Kwas could be acid, but it's spelled different. Człowiek należy do elity Człowiek należy do elity inteligentnych youtuberów. Dziękuję. Thank you. I'm just having a good time. I just came out here to talk and have a good time and find my way. Fermented ray bread. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, it sounded to me like that. Yeah. Um, it's a drink. I didn't know it's a drink. I know of soup that is similar to it, I guess, and it's delicious. In fact, I just got back from Poland. Um, yeah, unexpected trip. My mom passed away, so I had to take a trip, and it was extremely sad because obviously that's my mom, and I was trying to be with her for Christmas, but we didn't make it. Me and my brother didn't make it. She passed before we were able to. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a pretty tough year for me. I lost my mom. I lost my friend. I lost my dog. Everything in this short period of time, and I'm still trying to smile. I'm trying to smile for you. I'm trying to smile for me. I'm trying to spread not necessarily this cliche positivity, but just like life is too short to be. Thank you, William. Um, Life is too short to be just angry all the time, and paying attention to nonsense, like like trolling comments. I mean, hopefully people will grow. Hmm. Yeah, it's easy to be angry. Exactly. it is easy to be angry, but it's hard to do things that are not easy, right? That's kind of the point. And you cannot be proud of easy things. So if you're always angry and they are easy, and this is easy to do, but you're not really doing any service to yourself, right? Get a job. I don't know why would I get a job if I have my own business, but thank you for a suggestion. I appreciate that. I'm not sure what you're saying, but you know what? I think I need to just. It's not something to be proud of. What is not something to be proud of? Can you tell me? William Barry, how is your day, by the way? I didn't ask about that. Mm-mm-mm. So yeah, there is still some people here, and I think I've said enough for now. I think it's time to go and rest. I made a friend, William Barry. You're the one for tonight. Appreciate you. Cheers for respectful conversation. Please come back. My day was good, but lazy Sunday. That's good. That's good. It's good to completely decompress and do nothing. I caught myself oftentimes doing way too much and then feeling uneasy and anxious because I wanted to rest or do nothing. Like, you need to allow yourself to do nothing. You know, it's a really good thing to completely disconnect yourself from obligations once a week at least. Yeah, because you have to work to live, not live to work. And you don't have to feel bad when you just dedicate yourself a time. Oh, you subbed. Okay, that's nice. Are you gonna sub? So there's two options. You can grow, or you can not grow. If you want to be happy, you just have to work harder, but not just in that kind of cliche way. Just think what you say, what you write. Most of the people would not tell other people, like I said before, those things face to face because they're scared. They're scared because either they're gonna get the same response or worse. It's absolute. It's such a to really disrespect people that you don't know and say stupid things like that. On sitting, behind a keyboard, it's just so weak. I mean, it's just so pathetic and weak. I always laugh at this type of thing, right? And when somebody actually tell you something that makes you think, and it's kind of like, oh wow, that actually made sense. I didn't think about it from this perspective. I love to change my opinion. When I'm set on something and somebody tells me that something about it, and I can think, oh yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about it from this perspective. Then I'm happy. I'm first to adjust, But yeah, I don't know. Should I go or should I continue? You subbed because what? You want to grow? All right, cool, grow. Yeah. I had passion for martial arts before, and that was also funny when you would have like those kind of guys come and they're like pumped and they would just want to they just want to put it on you, right? Because they have energy, but they don't have any idea how to use it. And it was just so funny to go to the ring with them or on the mats and then see what they got, right? And it was fun to see how they fall apart real quick, and then they're humbled. But there's nothing better than be humbled. You have to be humbled. Hmm. Exactly, William. William is an example of a very, well put together mind. This is good. Yeah. Why adding to it? Why adding to it? Hey man, hey man. Yeah. Why adding hostility to the world that is already off the rails? Um, in fact, when you really have that restraint, like when you really somebody's provoking you, and I'm not talking about internet even at this point, like face to face, and you just won't let them take your peace away. Because if you engage, I'm engaging now, but it's just like just to tell them a little bit. It's just like have fun with this. But when you really engage with somebody, and you're exchanging their energy, and then you're basically feeding them, right? But when you are like calm and collected, when they shouting at you face to face, that is the biggest satisfaction. This happened to me, and it's just you can see how they're deflating. Like they don't know what to say, what to do. Like they're embarrassed, and they should be. Um, that's real power, you know. That's real power. Yeah. At this point, I'm not going to reply to any stupid comments because they're just like, I'm one. There's a lot of stupid comments, so I'm not here for that. They're gonna filter themselves out, and this channel is gonna go the right direction. Yeah. So you say joining military help with the emotional regulation. To some degree, yeah. Other things, there's many things that help me with that. I came with a very, very dysfunctional family, a very aggressive family, very, alcohol infested, and very hostile environment on the streets. And I'm not saying to sound cool or tough for some people, just like saying, well, no, it was just reality, And when I went to the military, it just like kind of structured me because there was no structure at home. There was war at home, there was war at school, there was war on the street. And then you go to the military where you think there is going to be an actual war. It was actually a structure, wrapped up in a lot of getting my ass kicked on top of everything until I got my ranks and I was beyond that. So it was just good experience, a humbling experience. And at this point, it rekindled my passion for martial arts and just, like I said, structure, I guess. I went to the military. I was 21. I was kind of late in the game. Yeah, I was late because I wanted to study. I wanted to go to college, but just at the time I couldn't afford it. And so they kind of snagged me and put me into a Coast Guard, and that kind of, that's how it started and how it went. Yeah, pretty interesting times. I'll tell you this much. Running, in the snow with no t-shirt, getting almost pneumonia, coughing my lungs out. Yeah. Uh-huh. Did I see combat? Not like actual combat like that, but since I was in Coast Guard, we would have to patrol, whatever. I don't know how to explain this, but like tugboats and those other where people they were hiding, trying to smuggle stuff, and we would have to come in and kind of check what's up and make a lot of noise and shake people around. It wasn't as violent as going to Iraq or nothing close to it. I was never called to that kind of duty. No. Mm-mm. But it was it was something else. It was interesting. It was very interesting, especially because that very year they paired my platoon with these special forces guys, and these guys were, oh my god, we're not supposed to ever mix with them, but they kicked the shit out of us. And yeah, they were professionals. We were not. So, but it was interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. Their training was nothing like our training. Their training was sick. It was animal. Yeah. Yeah, that was the Baltic Sea. Yes, William. I'm ready from the Baltic Sea. Exactly from the Baltic Sea. So if you go all the way north, you're gonna see the peninsula. If you look at the map right now, and you're gonna see peninsula, and there's like a hook at the very north. All right. At the end of this peninsula, there's a little city called Hell, Hel, and it's funny because this is where was the unit of my brother's unit, in 1994, and now I went in 2001 later. So when he arrived, they said to him, "Welcome to Hell." I kid you not, they said that in English. And it's a tiny peninsula. It's like 30 miles only. On the outside, you got Baltic Sea. On the inside, you have a Gulf, like, Gulf of Mexico. And that little piece of land, when I was there in 1994, I still found remaining, pieces of some what you call it, like grenades, like little bullet shells from the Second World War, and it was real hell over there for my brother. Like, these people, the way they treated him and the training and everything, it was unbelievable. Yep. Yeah. That's a good memory. And now I'm really completely off the topic. So we went into the woods right now. Yep. So, but that was my brother's unit. Yeah. But mine was pretty intense as well. Now it's optional. You don't even have to do it. Yeah. Message retracted. Okay. You must have said something really, really offensive. You found on the map? Oh, yeah. That's cool, man. And my hometown is pretty close, If you look at the bottom of this peninsula, there's a town called, you would read it Puck, like a hockey puck, 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 and that's where I'm from. Yeah, it was mandatory when I joined. Yeah, I couldn't say no. If I was to study, I guess there was like a deadline where I could actually study, but I just didn't have enough money. I was poor and broke and paranoid and scared. Yeah, and hurt in many ways because, like I said, it was first 20 years of my life was completely different. When I look back, I don't even recognize that was me. Mm-mm. Yeah, I'm focused on basic life right now. Really, maintain my body. I love going to the gym. I love eating right, but I'm not obsessing. There's so much nonsense online about I don't know, fitness, and they're trying to make it so complicated and science based, to the point that you just would have to read almost like a phone book thick, literature about how to grow muscle. I'll tell you, eat right and lift weights and stretch and run, and that's it. And do some cardio, and if you like combat sports, then do that's gonna do it. If you love dancing, start dancing, whatever, just get moving. It's not really that complicated for majority of the regular folks, and it's just that's the thing. I'm trying to go back to the roots of simplicity and just live normal life. Get up, do what you gotta do, try to train your mind and your life, I guess. And that's it. And that's a good practice for me, talking to people here and seeing like some people trying to say silly things, and I cannot control that. That's another thing. I cannot control what people say, what people do. I only can control how I reply to it. All right. Oh yeah, this peninsula has a lot of kite surfing, which is cool. This is actually this is one of the best places in the world because of it's a weird, this peninsula creates such a weird winds that a lot of people love going there for. I think there was quite few world championships in kite surfing, which, as the name implies, you have a kite and you have a surfboard, and then you connect it to it and you fly, with this, and you just kind of surf, and it's extremely exciting and beautiful. Yeah, they surf a lot. It's there's a lot of different boats and sports on sea boats. And when I was a kid, this peninsula, this water would freeze up, and this on the inside of this peninsula, it was completely frozen, and you could just cross. You can basically walk, and I would put my like skates, and I would just be skating. I remember when I was growing up, the only true friend I had was my dog. I didn't trust nobody because everybody was enemy. I would just put my dog in a backpack and just get on the ice. It was windy as hell, and the water was deep, but this ice was like multiple feet deep. So I didn't have to worry about collapsing. Jesus Christ loves you. All respect. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, those kites are wild. Yeah, it can really yank you up there far and high. Yeah. It can really yank you around. Are you a Christian? Well, like I said, I'm not talking about those things. No politics, religion. That is personal. That is locked out. Maybe one day you graduate. If you become my true friend in about 20 years, perhaps, if you really try, then I might tell you. I share as much as I want. Like, for example, where I'm from, okay, I don't really care. But there's some things and subjects I really don't care sharing with people. And that's another thing, people share way too much. And going back to the original subject of social media, social media is basically like desensitizing people from that feeling that they're actually supposed to keep it for themselves, right? And like the personal stuff, such as religious and even political views. I believe it's good to share, I guess, a little bit, but like if people are just too involved and just you feel empty, like you don't feel anything that you have for yourself if you just give it away. That's how I see it, at least. Well, you say I know much of Poland is strongly Christian. Yeah, I can correct you here a little bit. You're kind of under umbrella, but let's correct you because you want it, and that's Catholics. And if you want to know the difference, Google it. This is not a religious stream. Okay? So, do you guys feel like we should cut it out now? Somebody still want to engage, or shall we go and cut it off here? But I'll be back. I'll be making more streams about different subjects. And like I said, my goal here is to help people. That's where I'm truly. That's what makes me happy. If I can hear you, even if this is a little chat, or if somebody will find a way to connect with me on the outside of the chat, that's fine. I've worked with people, like I did. People call it like life coaching. I don't like that name at all. Are you Irish? Carlos. Hey, Carlos. No, I'm not. But fun fact, I spent 2.5 years living in Ireland, in Dublin, and then I moved to Northern Ireland, to Belfast, which was unbelievable. It was unbelievable. I loved it. I love Irish people. I have a lot of friends, in Ireland. They still call me every birthday, and I can't wait to go back there and hang out with them again. It was unbelievable time. I worked for a company, a pharmaceutical distributor of the what you call it, consumables, which is like different things that people use in universities. And I'm Danish. All right, cool. Yeah, that's cool. It's nice. Here we are. a little world. Yeah. That's the thing. We are from different places, but we are the same. We have the same. If you really strip it everything down to essentials, right? We all feel pain. We all feel anger and excitement, and we have similar things under the hood. So it's not that we're not that very different, but unfortunately nowadays, socially, we are looking for every opportunity to separate ourselves, to segregate ourselves, to group ourselves, to attack one another. That's idiotic. Like this doesn't help anything, right? Like I prefer to have 10 awesome friends or colleagues. I don't know what you would call it, but some people that you can rely on and be tight with, and really tackle the problems with, as opposed to just having 10,000 Facebook so-called friends. Just, like, I'm lucky enough, but I worked hard for it, that if I was in some trouble, I know who I can call, and they're gonna be there for me. There's no doubt. There's no doubt, and that's what this world is lacking. I wish more people had that. That then they could have people that are really gonna stand for them and be by their side when they need it, because things happen. Like I said, like I said, I just lost my mother, and it was a shock, and it was overwhelming how many people that I haven't even talked for so long, but they still remember me and know me from times before, and they reached out and and told me things and tried to guide me through this. It was shocking. I lost my dad in the last 4 years. My dad, my mom. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's pretty tough. But I had a tremendous support from people that. Yeah, let's just leave it at that. It is a really lonely time. If you think about it, that's actually a good statement. So it looks like you're kind of tipping towards the right direction. It is a lonely time, ironically. That's why we are feeling like we need to make stupid comments or something. A lot of people feel like this because they want attention. Psychology is very simple. I actually did study psychology, and I did not finish that school, but it was fascinating to learn. That's how I as I gonna. No, I'm not gonna curse. I was going to. I don't want to curse, but I undid the damage. I undid the damage. I undid the damage. You got to be happy anyways. Yeah, I mean, I look like a nerd. Okay, I am a nerd. I have no problem being a nerd. I'm a nerd. I am my my I don't have any rhyme and reason to certain things, I love learning. I love to know that I know that I don't know a lot of things. And that's a good start. Yeah. Yeah, nerd is power. Like you get to be curious, like a kid. I want to know what's up. I don't want to pretend that I know everything. I don't want to be locked and I don't want to go back, regress, right? So I'm trying to follow. Where are you? I saw something. There was a comment. Somebody said something that I lost my parents, and I don't see it now. Yeah. Yes. I see. My chat kind of freaked out a little bit. Yeah. I lost both of my parents in a short period of time, and on top of my dog, I also love animals. I love dogs. I was part owner of the non-profit rescue organization, saving them. Yeah, there was one instance that I had to do something that I really thought about, and I probably shouldn't have done it, but I did it because there was a dog. We had a situation where somebody adopted a dog through the our rescue, and it turns out that they didn't treat him very well. They abused him, and I skipped this. I got carried away, and I skipped the steps and go and got the dog back. But unfortunately, I did it kind of the hard way, and yeah, let's just leave it there. I had a confrontation with this person, and it didn't work out for him very well. And so I'm very sensitive on the subject of dog, way more than more other things. If somebody would hurt the dog and I would see it, then the God gonna only save him. Let me tell you this, because I have a switch that I can activate on command. Because animals are way more loyal than people, and I know that firsthand. Yeah. Oh, I right now have I just lost, like I said, I had English Bull Terrier. He had a cancer. He was getting actual chemo for 6 months, but I wasn't able to save him. There was a terminal cancer, and I have. They're not like, I don't care what breed they are. They're just mixed. I have two dogs, female and a male. Yeah, dogs are honest. They won't betray you. They will always love you. They don't care. Husky, yeah, that's cool. I love husky. Okay. No, I have husky. Okay, yeah. I used to. No, did I have a husky? No, I have a Catahoula. I had so many dogs. I had, gee, German Shepherds and Rottweilers and Chihuahuas. I mean, you name it. They came from, they all were coming from the streets. A mutt person. You're a mutt person. Yeah, that's good. Mutts are William. Yeah, keep typing, William. I didn't even know that you were still there. Please be there. Please come back again. I can't. I don't know yet enough about the streaming to know when I'm gonna be back, but I'm gonna try to be pretty much every night because I want to. I want to do that. I want to really spread more good vibe. I want to help people, even if they attack me. Yeah, mutts are very strong. They're genetically very strong. Much stronger than clear breeds. Yeah, I know that you subbed. You told me. I appreciate that, man. I do. I need to figure out how to communicate with people that I like offline, that I'm gonna pick out from here. Do I live by myself? No, I live with somebody. I lived in the house that I purchased last year in March. Mutt dogs are better. No, they're not better. They're just stronger. Genetically, they're stronger. They have less mutations genetically. They're, like they're basically combinations of multiple different forms of dogs and breeds, and they fight different mutations better. Yeah, so that's why they're very resilient and less prone to illnesses and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah. So what's up, guys? Are we cutting this out or we want to go on? Because I don't know. I don't know what you would like to talk about. Maybe somebody wants to throw a subject, but please throw something we can talk about, not some stupid childish comment that is ignored by everybody. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Have you seen Messi a Puma? No, I no, I don't think I did. I would have to look it up. Let me see. Let me see real quick. I have a computer here. Let me how to spell this so I don't lose it. Mm. Oh, I thought we were talking about dogs, and now I got taken for a spin. Why is the Messi the soccer player coming up? Am I missing something? Am I making fool out of myself, William? I'm not sure. What kind of job I have? I have my own business. Uh, Animals. I don't know. When I'm putting this Messi the Puma, I only see the Messi the player. Yeah, but we can solve this mystery later. Yeah. So what you guys want to talk about, William? William, you still staying, or we are? I'm gonna decide with William. William is gonna be a producer here. Well, you say William might be smarter than you. You know, you determine, how you respond and what's your level of intelligence, and we can help you, right, William? Can we help him? I'm assuming it's him because I don't think the woman would be really trying to be acting silly, but he's improving. 15 more minutes? Okay, if you want to. Like, I'm ready to go already. I've been on it for an hour and a half. I'll be probably on it tomorrow and day after. Tomorrow I have to travel, so probably go recording from my vehicle, something like that. And that's the fun thing. We can record from anywhere we are. I started with social media and how this is deteriorating us, but luckily we are using this medium to talk. And I have to really put it together what I'm trying to deliver to this world. Yeah. Even if somebody has like an hour of good time, because my passion is psychology and how this works. Okay. And every single day I basically talk to somebody and I'm listening very carefully. I right now I'm talking, obviously, right? But I like to listen to what people have to say and then trying to find an interesting way for them to look at what they just said the way they maybe didn't think before, and then it's just kind of find an opening so they can find opening out of their own problem. Because oftentimes people give advices, and advice is cheap and free actually. It doesn't work at all in real life, but you need to find a way to bring people to their own answers. You might even see it from the mile away, but you need to find a way to guide them there. Then they're going to feel like they discovered that, and they technically did in a way. And that's very powerful. That's transformation. Yeah, I've seen people dealing with extreme anxieties or depression, but once I help them separate themselves from the thoughts, then they kind of they were able to see that this is just a mind projection. They're just responding in the wrong way. Okay, William. Yeah, take it easy, brother. I might stay for a few more minutes if anybody's here. If anybody wants to talk, throw a subject, and I will. If somebody wants to talk about psychology, or somebody is feeling down today, feeling depressed or anxious, and you don't have to spill any details. But William, please come back. I would appreciate that. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Australian cattle dogs have dingo blood. Yeah, they're very strong, very quick, and responsive. Yeah. So, are we done, guys? What do you think? Good stream, bro. Yeah, good stream, William. Thank you so much. I appreciate you, man. Please come back, and we'll continue. We'll continue that. I'm just waiting for the last people to say what they want to say. Uh-huh. Looks like our little baby troll is turning towards the good side and saying good night to us. So next time I see you, please get it together, okay? You asking me if I read chat? Yeah, I do read chat right now. I'm new to streams and I'm trying to be interactive. Of course, once this chat picks up and there's going to be more people here, it's going to be much harder for me. I really don't care if you troll me. You know, I didn't care at all from the beginning. I just tried to point it out that this was silly, and you won't get anything out of it. It's not a place. Okay, I don't love it. Like I just answered to you, so don't be too smart. I can just get rid of you. Let me get rid of you, okay? You want me to? Hang on. You're gonna be banned for life. Let's see how do I do that. I'm still learning, so hang on. You're gonna be my first one. No. It's pretty boring staring at you. Okay, there's a solution. You can turn around and just look at the wall and imagine cooking. All right, here's a solution. What you thinking, right? I mean, you don't have to be here. You know, I don't want to cook. I already cooked everything, so I'm just sitting and reading. I'm trying to make this as conversational as possible. Okay, I didn't block you yet. I'm giving you still a chance. Okay, you're gonna be my project. You're gonna be my project troll. Yeah. Yeah. No, I get you, man. I could be cooking, I could be doing puzzles or whatever, but no, I'm just reading and I'm trying to converse right now. Once I get a hang of it or decide what to do with this, where I'm gonna take this, then I might do it differently. There's gonna be more structured streams where I'm actually gonna talk about subjects, and hopefully people will get something out of it. They're gonna be more geared towards things that people have a trouble with. You know, a lot of things gonna be up here. So anybody still here wants to tell me that I'm boring before I go away? I'm having a great time. What do you think of the Buddha? Buddha was cool. Buddha. Oh, I thought my life just died. Buddha was very, very intelligent. I can tell you this much. Very reserved. Do you use the eyes for the glasses? No, I use my glasses for my eyes, but yeah. Yeah, I have a Buddha in my right there, and that's kind of the point, you know, to be more calm and collected and less reactive and more responsive. You know, there is a fine line and beauty in sarcasm and some kind of like a dry humor, but at the same time there's a lot of, I don't know how to say it, but there's no point into just being childish, right, and provocative and just saying super shit. So Buddha is very impressive. You cannot get him out of his state. Okay, so for the very last time, I'm asking a question. Are we ending this? Are we continuing this? And if we are continuing this, then say, give me a topic. Okay? And if it's stupid, then I'm gonna kill it. Any suggestions? No? I'm not reading this. I'm just reading what's after that. Okay. You know what? Actually, you're gonna be the first one to go. Hang on. Let me delete your ass. Remove. Remove. Boom. All right. That was fun. I didn't know how to do that. I'm not gonna tolerate at all an idiot that is gonna say that he's got a diagnosis and I wasted my time, because there's people that are getting actually diagnoses every day, and I know some of them about you know, their health and terminal diseases, and I'm not gonna put up with this. So where do I stand on Jesus? You must have just joined because I was saying that I do not talk about religion, but maybe I'll tell you, as far as I can go in that subject is that I'm non-religious. All right, I do not I do not tell people what to believe or what not to believe, or that this is bad or good or something. I just do not personally engage with religion at all. So this doesn't mean that I do not hope or, you know, would be happy to know that there's a God, but religions, it's not my thing. Yeah. Free thinker, I guess. I don't know. Maybe. Like, I'm just not particularly a group thinker, like in a way of picking religions, because there's a lot of, it really depends where you're born. Okay. So I'm kind of breaking my rule, but if you were born here in this part of the world, you'll be, this. And if you are born there, you are this. So it kind of something is the math doesn't add up, right? Like, my favorite quote is that everybody cannot be right, but everybody can be wrong. So that's how I see it as far as religion goes. And if Jesus is there, then that would be cool if he actually did something for us. So, is there any brave soul to actually interact, or should I cut it out because I'm repeating myself right now about this, ending this? I can't believe it. I basically blocked this person, but I'm not gonna put up with the offense towards terminal diseases or diseases. That's not cool. So, I guess I'm gonna wrap it up here, right? Was there a table? Was there a topic on the table? Not really. I was kind of like all over the place. Like, I was just saying that this is my second stream, so I'm not very, stream savvy, put it that way. I started at the very beginning about social media and how this is kind of eroding the connection between people, like the actual, true connection, as opposed to, everything is like on the not everything, but a lot of connection is very shallow, and a lot of disrespect and trolling happening. We had a lot of it today. Some people are improving, I don't know, maybe not, but message retracted. I think he wrote something and he pulled it back. He's fighting his own fight right now. All right, that's cool. I like that. It reminds me of me. When I was younger, I was also a little bit more cocky, but right now I know that I have to be careful with what I say, because that represents me. Okay, I have standards. How old I am? I'm old, 45 years old. I'm 45, almost 50. So, yeah. That's the story. What am I looking to get out of your stream? Good question. I would say it's not really what I want to get out of, is what I want to give. It's more about giving. Um, I want to find my groove and help people with a lot of things. It makes me happy when I help people. It really makes me happy. It really is true. Almost 50 is a stretch. Yeah, it's a little bit, but when you're 45, you start thinking about it. Sometimes I'm laughing. I laugh a lot. I can't take everything too serious. It makes me. It's very weird when people obsess over things that they don't have control over. The truth is you don't have control over 99% of things in your life or more. Believe me. You don't know what you're gonna think. You don't know what you're gonna feel. But there's ways to deal with that. Like I said, psychology is something that I absolutely adore, and it changed my life for better. And if I can help somebody deal with their emotions, with anxiety, with stress, with mindset, with getting out of their overthinking loops, that's what really turns me on. Yeah, dealing with trolls and the real stuff is gonna be tough. I'm seeing that. But yeah, well, I mean, maybe I'll make more videos, like static videos, um, and maybe this will kind of determine the direction of this. I'm not psychologist. No, that was the goal. That was the goal, to go into psychology and to help myself first, because of that. I was trying to undo the damage that I I took when I was very young. Yeah, 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 yeah. I like when clowns are trying to get attention. Like he's talking about my ears. Somebody is talking about my eyes, my glasses, my this and that. They don't have balls to do their own what you call it, stream, and their ego and insecurity is on such a level that they need to go and just pick on people's body features or say something stupid, like it's just, it's just so pathetic. It's just so amusing. I just find it so amusing. Yeah, if you really wanted to go to psychology, schooling was, yeah, there's so many modalities and a lot of them are outdated. They just focus on, if you really want to know, if you're serious about it. But um, there's a lot of modalities in psychology that focus on the things that you know really don't help you. Like, for example, focusing way too much on the past. Like, you shouldn't be digging in the past all the time, because then you're missing out on the present, and definitely present. I mean, the future would change into present eventually, and you're still digging the past. It's just nonsense. Instead, people should focus more about adapting, the behaviors and mental patterns into the present moment, and that way they can affect actual future, which will eventually turn into a present. So hopefully that makes sense for you. hmm I'm not sure what you're referring to, ideology. I'm presuming this is your old tendencies pulling you towards trolling, but I'll let it slide. No, absolutely. The past having absolutely past having impact on the present moment, and it's good to acknowledge it. But there are people there. All right, like typical, like psychoanalysis. It's almost like getting. You've seen this even in the movies. People who just go to their therapist for years and years and years. They go to vent, and venting is not a good idea. Okay, you have to understand the relationship between thoughts and emotions. That's really the most um, impactful thing, as opposed to past. I'm not gonna go into details, but I went through a lot of crazy shit when I was very young. Very, very dysfunctional family. A lot of aggression, a lot of violence, alcohol. Police was knocking on our door twice a week. I had anxiety and depression and my own, violent tendencies, and it was the mind was dysregulated, completely fucked. And I found a way out, because if I didn't, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be here now. Mhm. There are clowns in here that I'm completely gonna enjoy reading, and laugh inside, and know that they nobody care about it. Thanks for sharing. Yeah. So I'm seeing patterns. I'm learning. I'm like recording patterns right here. And there was few people that had a very, very kind response, and then I see how many clowns are here. Training schools of the ministry. Okay. No, the military was just an episode. It helped to structure my life. To really, you know, it actually helped me to move on with my life towards better things. Yeah. So I liked and sub. Can I get shout a shout out? Yeah. I'm trying to. I'm trying to. Well, how do I? Oh, hang on, because this is flying too fast. Hang on, don't go anywhere. Dabus Trill. Okay. Thanks for sub. I appreciate you. No, the military. No, I guess we were talking about military before you came. I went to Coast Guard in 2001, and it just structured my life. When I came in, I was angry. I was, like I was 21. I was completely, I was out of it. Right. I was very angry. I was very anxious. I was very depressed. I had all these emotions, pent up inside. I looked for trouble everywhere I could find trouble. That would be an outlet for energy. Like a lot of trolls right here. They typing that allows their pent up energy and insecurities, you know, to release. Um, when I'm sorry, I messed up something here. When I was at that time, there was internet and social media was just starting, right? In 2001, it was just starting. So we were not addicted to typing and whatever and provoking people. And that wouldn't be me anyway. I don't enjoy provoking people, disrespecting people. To me, this is weak, because like the time if somebody would disrespect me like that today, I would just like whatever, just come on, dude, like face to face. But when I was 21, it would be like right away would be just slap and laugh because doesn't deserve even a fist. It just, it just deserved to be disrespected in return. But now, no, I don't take it that way. Yeah, yeah. There's more clowns coming. There's more clowns. I love clowns. Come on, bring your insecurities here. Let's see what you got. Because when you're vulnerable, when you actually speak, when you tell, this clown just said, didn't hear that a few minutes ago said that I lost my mother, and that a few days ago I had to go and bury her. He didn't hear that I lost my father, right? He didn't know that I lost my dog. Everything happened in a very short period of time, and he's proud to be a clown, right? He's so stupid to understand that there is a backstory. There's other things he doesn't know, because Dunning-Kruger effect, which for those of you that don't know, is or he retracted any information, I guess or message, because he realized that the comment was absolutely stupid. the Dunning-Kruger effect is this is when stupid people they think they know more than they know, and they usually know the least and try to say the most, and that's really the big problem of internet. It's like a DNA of trolls. Mm. Wow, you okay? Somebody threw me. Don't blink. XZX. Wow, that's this question is really interesting. Who could we do without? I don't know. I really, I haven't. I didn't think about it for like 20 years. I was in military 20 years ago. Um, I'm sorry, I don't have a good answer for you right now. Yeah, I really don't know who we can do with that. Who is, I was with, I was training with Grom, and those motherfuckers, they're just something else. Like, you cannot believe how they can intimidate. It's just that's why it makes me laugh when I'm reading things like here somebody's trying to offend me and you think they are gonna take it. Yeah. How am I? I'm doing just fine, thank you. Can I sub? You asking me again? Just sub it. If you want it, sub it. If you don't sub it. Like I'm not gonna push you. Sorry for your loss. Yeah. Um, did I find the closure? Yes, kind of, I guess, because my father he caused a lot of trouble. He was very aggressive, violent person, alcoholic, and believe it or not, he was hooked up with Polish mafia. I am I am Polish, and so those things that I've seen that I shouldn't, and then it affected my mom big time. She went to alcohol too to deal with this. He's terrorizing behavior, and yeah, so I kind of had my mindset on my dad already for many years, and so it was inevitable that he's going to just drink himself to death, and he achieved the goal. But mm, so when my mom passed, right now I'm supposed to fly to Poland for this Christmas. I'm supposed to go and see her. She had cancer, and unfortunately she faded within a week. And me and my brother were supposed to fly for Christmas, and on December 1st she passed. So I had to pack everything and had an emergency flight, and had to fly there December 1st, and I was there on December 3rd, I believe. And on the 4th she was buried, and it was it. It was just that close. I was in shock. I just, for the first 2 days, I couldn't even process what's happening. I was completely locked out from my own emotions, and then it hit me, and then I broke. Yeah. And for all of you that are listening and watching, I don't know who would write "Did you cry?" When I'm talking that I lost my mother, right? Like, how can you take a person like this serious? Like, how could you really, like, how low you gotta be? How low you have to think of yourself, first of all, to be so insecure to ask somebody whether he cried. I mean, really. Yeah. It of course I cried. I was just in a state of shock because I wasn't expecting this to happen so close. So I mean, so quick. Yeah, thank you. I appreciate Jake. Yeah, it was quick. It was so quick. It was few days. I had a lady looking after her for years already. because she had a problem. She already had, health problems. She had cancer. She had all the things going on, and she couldn't come to live in America with me because of the medical care that she needed. And yeah, I was not able to go and see her. Well, if I offended you, if you had a good intention, then I am sorry. If you had, because I've been dealing with some trolls, so I'm trying to balance the energy. But it's a little bit insensitive to ask somebody whether they cried when they lost the person like mother, because it's kind of forgive me, it's kind of silly question, because people cry for less than less traumatic reasons. So I wouldn't ask that, but that's just me. So, but if you didn't mean to say anything negative, then then I get it. But I get it. But I think people are just so insensitive nowadays anyway, because they're desensitized. Going back to the natural, I mean, the initial topic of the internet, of the stream on the internet, people getting a little bit, cocky. Yeah, only a non-human wouldn't cry. Yeah, a robot. It's just like I was in a state of shock, more than anything, because I was already seeing, future that I'm going to go and see her and hug her, and me and my brother going to see her, and we're gonna have Christmas. And next thing you know, I'm getting a call 4 in the morning that my mom passed away, and I was like, "What are you even saying?" Yeah. Exactly. You should control your curiosity, and there's a way to kind of prep the question and get to know the person. Maybe she died in your childhood home. Yes, yes, exactly. Yeah. hmm So going back there and being in this, it's not a house; it's just an apartment, and being in this apartment without her, it was just weird. I grew up there, and she's no longer there, and I was planning to go and have a Christmas with her, and I never will be able to do that. It's so unreal. It's just when I think about it, that's why I'm trying to be more and more respectful and kind, because people deal with things behind the scenes all the time. Every one of you in this chat right now have problems on different levels, personal levels, whether that's uh, oh, I'm reading again. Yes, it brought me closer to my brother. Yeah. Every time we get together nowadays, my brother is 52, I want to say. It's going to be 53 this year, and I'm 45. And we are completely different. But yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, every time we do something like together now, we get closer, and we both had a rough time growing up there, in this town and with this family and everything. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it is an emptiness. You feel that everybody dealt with loss or will deal with it. Yeah, when I was there, it was emptiness. It was deafening emptiness there. I was in this apartment, and it was just squeezing me. It was just like, oh my god, like empty. Yeah, you nailed it. That's a good point. Yeah, we need to be caring, and it's just like being a troll or being offensive and attacking people, making stupid comments. People confuse this with being strong, right? Or being cool or whatever, and it's a pure insecurity. But why not put some effort and just support one another, right? Like, it's not a rocket science, because when somebody lose their parent or parents like I did, and or have a tough time, lose a job, something like that, and they go and, I don't know, go online and make a stream or something, um and you just go and just shit all over them. What kind of person are you? Like, how does this make you feel better? I don't get it. I just completely don't get it. It's just that, and that's why I want to be here, and I have to find a way to deliver the message that I want to deliver to the right people. And I have a very thick skin, very very thick. So right now I'm just reading those comments because what else what else to do? Like, I'm not going to be here giving you some kind of presentation with PowerPoint, right? Unhappiness. Yeah. Unhappiness is an interesting topic too, because you see, if you would ask 100 people, what's happiness, right? You'll get 100 different answers. My definition of happiness always go back to the same word, and that is um, peace. If you are at peace with yourself, with your life, with people around you, with your financial situation, this is happiness. Because how many people have ton of money, fame, and everything, and they're just completely off the chain? They completely, they're destroying themselves. They're always in trouble, one way or the other, with alcohol and drugs or whatever. So peace. If you wake up in the morning and you smile and you cool, you go and you don't have this chaos in your mind attacking you, if you don't fight with yourself constantly, then you arrived, you're happy, you're detached from this madness. Do I have wife? No, I did, and we got divorced. And talking about hardship, she's going through cancer right now. Imagine that, a very very difficult treatment she's receiving right now, second time around. The cancer went through the whole cycle, chemo, and then came back right back. So I'm going through some patch because we're still very good friends. It just didn't work out on the level we wanted to, but yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah. Yeah, health, exactly. Health, yes, exactly. Health is the thing. What's the best approach to overcome the grief? Well, really, the best approach is to allow time. It's almost like non-answer, but it is allow the time and allow. I'm trying to do my best to always what I was going to say, I lost my train of thought. When it comes to grief, whether that's a person or an animal, I'm trying my best to, instead of going into regretting that this happened, which was inevitable. At some point, everybody's going. Is to be grateful that we had opportunity to know each other, to be in each other's life and love each other. Right? It's a kind of mind shift. It's very hard. It's not easy at all. Right? It's not easy at all to just, oh yeah, you're gonna have moments. I guess at the very beginning, if you lose somebody, you just have to let yourself. You just have to let yourself fall apart and then pick up the pieces. Because if you don't face it and allow yourself to grieve naturally, you just allow it to be, then you're gonna build this and compress this and hold this in your life, in your heart forever. But I think at some point later, when you kind of like get your bearings and feet under yourself, then you have to kind of try your best to appreciate the time you did have together, as opposed to just focusing that this person or this animal isn't in your life anymore. That's what I'm trying to do, because with this amount of loss, there's times that I get choked up, right? And I'm like, oh, I just have to be present. Okay, that I have to be present with myself, and that's the thing. So somebody asked me why the Buddha is there. I'm not religious, but but Buddhism focuses on being in the present moment, and that is a release. You're really pushing it, dude. Like you're really pushing. You're really pushing. That is not any release. Death is not any release, unless you are, in a lot of pain. That might be kind of relief, but you're really going wrong directions again. You just cannot help yourself. Wait a minute. Let me see something real quick. Trying to forget. No, for trying to forget. No, you cannot forget. Like when no, you can't forget those things. They're in you. They're in your heart. They're in your heart. Great perspective. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's not about forgetting. It's more about forgiving, but on a much higher level, which is forgiving. I don't know how to really verbalize this, but it would be something along the lines of forgiving that it happened. Like if there was a causing reason, you forgive the reason. Call it a cancer, call it a God, call it whatever. You just allow this to be because it's inevitable, right? So you just flow with this. You just have to. There's no other way, right? I lost my best friend, and as well, yeah, I sound like an angel of death. I know this is pretty dark, but you see, the only reason it is because a lot of people don't say those things, because like I said, we don't even talk to them, and they don't talk to us. Oftentimes conversations are shallow. They are not going deep, and we don't hear them. Okay, or we hear some kind of over, what's the word, people trying to like make a sensation, about something, online or whatever. But dealing with stuff like that is very, very difficult. Okay, you talk about mushrooms. I mean, yeah, I mean that's something that's, you can say that I did mushrooms too when I was much younger, and there was a good experience, but I wouldn't. It's easy to say to do that when something like this happened, but those kind of psychedelic experiences are really amplifying, um, and releasing a lot of elements of your psyche, free, and you really don't know what's going to happen. To be honest, it might be very. I wouldn't never tell anybody to do that right after something tragic happened, because if you really do this immediately, then your mind is so. If you really feel that you know destroyed and demolished, but you can't, you should not amplify. It's almost like you're going to amplify this at some point later. When you find your peace at some point, you can probably try to do something like this. But I think it's just good to face, smell the coffee and allow this to be, and find your peace. That's why I like to meditate. Here too, I sit down and my mind is spinning, and that's normal. I just observe my mind. I allow these thoughts to come and go, because when you're trying to always change, okay, here's the thing, like the distraction. Let's say internet, right? When we always scrolling, when we're always doing things, we never allow ourselves to process our own feelings, emotions. We're constantly running, distracting ourselves, because as soon as you put your phone down, you get anxiety. Why is that? Well, because there's so many things that are being neglected. They're not being dealt with. They're being ignored. You're running away from them, right? So they pile up over the years, and then you go nuts. Yeah, taking a shrooms would probably not help at all, especially in the early stage. Yeah, that would be a risky move. Yeah, finding something else to hold on to will be definitely interesting. or not even interesting, but right move. Yeah. Um, do I believe in higher power? That's a question that I said at the beginning. You maybe were not here. I typically don't talk to, but as far as I go, is no, I'm not religious per se. I don't affiliate with groups of people that are religious, but I'm open-minded, and I have no problem hoping that there is something up there. That would be how I see it, because there's so many groups, there's so many religions. Everybody thinks that they're right. It's impossible that everybody's right. Somebody has to be wrong, right? So, in fact, it's like I said earlier, there's a possibility that everybody's wrong, um, but there's no really very almost no possibility that everybody's right. It just doesn't math doesn't math. I think we can drop this shroom conversation here if that's okay. What do you think was your closest near-death experience? Oh, this is a good question. Actually, you actually hit it. I had a couple of them. One was when I was in Brazil. I've lived in Brazil for some time, and then I got bit by this like what am I thinking? Like a mosquito, right? And they called it dengue, something like that, some kind of fever. I don't know what happened, but it attacked my lungs. I couldn't breathe, and I started hallucinating. I was dying. I was really dying. I was really dying. They said that my lungs were so messed up. They had to feed me, through like a straw. Most of it I don't remember. I was in such a high fever for like a week. I was this close from the line. I remember them lifting me up, and I'm tall. I'm like 6'2", and my back popped, and over 200 pounds, and I was just like completely like a noodle, and they were just injecting me with different things, and yeah, it was pretty close. I remember I was saying goodbye to my mom, even though my mom was still alive back then, but I was 100% sure I'm gonna die. 100%, because I couldn't eat, I couldn't hold anything down. I was burning, fever, it was sick. I was hallucinating. I didn't know what's going on. I didn't understand what was happening around me. Jesus is the truth and the only way. Well, it might as well be, and I respect that. I'm not gonna say anything wrong about it. I'm not going to say anything around this. If this makes you feel good and you feel you're on the right path, stick to it. This is where your heart and your soul is, then go there. Who am I to tell you what to believe or what to do in your life? That's all you. As long as you do your best and forget the rest. That's my mantra, really. Yeah, he is a heavy duty. Who is a heavy dude? I don't know if I'm heavy. I'm 220 or something. I don't know if that's heavy. It's pretty good on my frame. 6'2", 220. But I actually have a resolution to drop it to 200. Yeah, this year. Actually, I already have kind of mindset and date in mind where I'm gonna achieve my goal. Yeah, okay, so we're kind of being pulled into religion conversation. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that is my kind of dilemma a little bit. That some people say Allah, some people say Jesus, some people say something else, and everybody's claiming to be right and stuff like that, and then that turns into like you're wrong, I'm right, da da da. That's why it's a kind of lose-lose proposition, right? At the end of the day, we don't know. We might say we do, but we don't. All I know that I don't know, and I also know that other people don't know. But if they're convinced that they do know, it's not my. I don't find any joy in telling them that they are wrong. So why would I do that, right? Because they might not necessarily be wrong. And my friend here is really pushing, yo, it's Jesus and Allah. No, we don't know. Maybe it's one of them, maybe both, maybe none. We don't know. The thing is to do. My favorite, one of the most favorite things to do or think or share is that there's, it's very important to do what you can, change, what you can affect. Most of those things we don't know. We don't know how to. We can't change politics. We cannot change how people think about, what they affiliate with religion. You can try to attack them, but why? Just focus on. You have such a limited time on this planet, and instead of just trying to use it in some kind of productive way, people burning their life every day. And believe me, it goes quick. As older, the older you get, the quicker it goes. Yeah. I'm not afraid of death. I'm concerned about dying. That's a different story. I'm going to feel, the way I think about death is like I'm going to feel exactly how I felt before I was born. I don't worry much about how I felt before I was born, right? Neither do you. So why would you worry about being dead? Okay, hang on just a second. Yeah, I'm gonna be very, very delicate here because I really like the way you interact here. I'm talking to Jake, H5M8P. Yeah, I know that you've seen it, and again, I can give you only my perspective. Okay, it's a lovely conversation, all right, between two people, and my take on that is, if you want to hear it, because we can go back and forth, and people do change, right, for better. Look, you can think, maybe not, but you can assume I changed for better, and I didn't change for better because I got, religious, or I went to a church and I picked certain religion. I, I found my own way. I realized that the anger, the violence, the anxiety, the depression, the drugs, things like this, that they're not gonna help me, right? I've seen it, way too much of it in my family. So then I decided, okay, and that was a very long and painful process. I found my way out, and so other people can too. But if the religion or Jesus, story is kind of motivating them and keeping them on track, I agree with that aspect, right? But we cannot clearly say, okay, that was the reason, like, that was what got them on the track and kept them there. Are you a sports guy? I'm not obsessed like some people are obsessed with sports. Like, I'm not really at all obsessed with any like games that people would watch, together, and get depressed when their team, gets demolished or something. Because for me, this is not that exciting. I'm more into like individual sports. Like, I love going to the gym, just taking care of myself. Nothing crazy. I love martial arts. I love movement, like practical and kind of functional movement. And yeah, just for the maintenance of the body, really. I don't have a goal to be shredded. I was shredded at some point. A few times in my life, I was completely shredded, but just because um, I was doing a lot of things, not only just sport. I was just moving constantly. Let me see. You're saying it's not even going to the church. It's more about a relationship. You're ending everything to him, saying, I can. Yeah, I mean, you can have, like I said, I mean, it's a reason. You don't have to go to the church or whatever. People have that, um, what can I say? That conviction inside, because, I can convince myself, that I want to do this for myself, all right, or I can do this for my girlfriend or wife or whatever, or I can do this for someone else, and that's my motivation, right? And if somebody else wants to do this because of religion sounds like a way out, then they do it, and I respect that. I'm happy. I've known people that turned their life around as well because they got on this kind of religious path, and I'm happy for them, right? I know you can give me a lot of personal examples, and I really, I really appreciate that. It's just like I'm saying, it's everybody has their own way of going towards certain, revelations, I guess. You've never been shredded. Yeah, I've been shredded a few times, and like I said, ironically, what's funny story. I got shredded one time when I came to America. One of the first jobs I got, I was working for FedEx, and like those, you know, FedEx ground smaller trucks, and I was just running. I did 100 stops a day. I think my record was like 118 stops, and I didn't know what I'm getting myself into. And um, I remember it was summer, and I live in Texas, right? So I had no time to eat, but I was just running and running and running, delivering those boxes. Um, my route was very busy, and that subcontractor I was working for was really working us to death. And I got shredded unintentionally. I dropped, I think, in a month, and I'm not even kidding you, about 30 pounds. And I was just drinking water. I had six pack without wanting. Not that I didn't want it, but without trying for it. But it was something else. Yeah. Uh-huh. And then I injured my back, and that was it. And two discs got herniated, and at this point I barely could walk, much less run and lift anything. And right now, when I go to the gym, even all those years later, that's 14, 15 years later, I feel the pain in my back. Yeah. I need to get MRI actually. I need to get MRI because definitely there's some deterioration. I'm still reading. Jake is talking about sinners, sins. Oh, I mean, again, the more I respond to this, the more you're gonna respond, and I love that. Don't take me wrong, please. Don't. That's not the point. I'm just trying to restrain myself so I don't just get into this rabbit hole. But I personally don't believe in sin because it makes no sense to me. Like because somebody ate an apple and the rest of the world has to carry that. It just makes no sense. And I know that can be looked symbolically and all that stuff, but like if you love somebody, you love unconditionally. That's the only love you can have, not love me or else. And that's why this is where this particular religion, and believe me, I'm from Poland. I'm from the very strict, um you know call it part of the world where Catholics and traditions are really, really rigid. And it doesn't make my sense to me. Texan JSN. Hey, hello. I'm also in Texas, so that's lovely. So yeah, I don't think you are a sinner. I think you're just being told that, and I hope you're gonna one day realize that you are just fine. Thank you. That's so kind. Why people cannot talk like that? Sorry to hear about your injury, but glad you're staying fit. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been I just don't give up that easily, it was horrific, when my discs popped and at the base of my spine, both of them, and for like a year and a half I barely could walk. It wasn't fun at all. You got into a wreck, left nine. Oh my god, nine slip disc in my. Oh my god. Okay. Well, yeah. So I got nothing. I'm a then mine was just a compared to this, mine is just a paper cut. I did have L4 and L5 slipped and is deteriorating. I know it is already it's causing a lot of problems at the back, at the lower back, but that's horrific. I'm so sorry to hear that. I really feel bad, but I hope you're good. Yeah, back injuries, they never go away. My girlfriend, she just had a surgery on her shoulder, rotator cuff, completely tendon got ripped off. 3 years ago, this one went out. She works in ICU. And because she's tiny, and a lot of people are there completely incapacitated and connected to tubes and everything, and heavy equipment, and she destroyed her body working for society, and giving her love to everybody through her service. Oh yeah, when you get cold, a few bones ache. Oh yeah, yeah, that makes sense. There's a lot of there's already arthritis kicking in. I just got back from the doctor, and because my left knee is my left knee is starting to act stupid, and arthritis is coming in. So yeah, my girl, she's a good lady. She's really believing in her mission of helping people. And hospital is tough, man. I mean, you think they would appreciate them more than they do, but that's not the case. Oftentimes they're understaffed, overworked, underpaid. It's crazy. Even when she broke when her shoulder went out, they tried to spin it like that was her fault. Like, how? Like, she's working here, breaking her back, and you're gonna try to put it on her. Come on. Jake, okay, you're going to sleep. That's good. Thank you for conversation. I appreciate that. Come back if you want to subscribe. If not, then don't. And yeah, just stay on your path, man. Like, do what you need to do. Develop your life to the next level. I'm always trying to do the same. I appreciate you sharing your stories. Oh, your knee is wrapped right now. Yeah, I have. Where is it? I don't have it here. I have this compression. They call this the compression sock. Which you put it over your knee, and that is keeping my meniscus in place. Because I went to the gym and I started squatting a little bit, and I already felt like it's trying to go out. I was worried it's gonna go sideways. And what time is it now? I can't even. Oh, it's 10 o'clock. All right. I think it's 10. Is it 10? Yeah, those type of injuries are tough. But what can you do? What can you do? You have to push forward. Yeah. Finally, I started my New Year resolution. So far so good. I've dropped. I clean up. I was always mindful of what I eat. I'm trying. I'm trying to limit the junk food and take more water and stuff like that. Yeah, patella popped and they had to pop it back. Still swollen, just walking on. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So again, that's what I'm trying to avoid. Yeah. I just subscribed. Well, thank you so much, Jake. Jake. Well, again, before you go, if you want to go, if if believing Christ, religion is giving you the reason to get up in the morning and smile and do the right thing and be happy, motivated, and uplifted, I'm all for it. You know what I'm saying? It's so good. there is a balance between, this is working for me, and some people like really pushing something on you, right? Like if I was to tell you, try to turn you around and tell you don't believe in that and don't do this and whatever, who am I to tell you what to do? What I'm looking at is how you interact with me and the chat and people, and that's really what I pay attention to. Everything else is secondary. Mhm. Oh, thank you so much. I suck at reading the names. Hang on, though. I go. Eduesis729. I'm so sorry, I'm butchering names, but I appreciate your time. I appreciate you being here. That's what it's all about. Subscription is cool, but it's not mandatory for anybody to really do it, but it's like a gift. It's like a beautiful gift. Yeah, I know you're not trying to push anything on me. That's so cool. I'm just trying to be honest. If I'm gonna try to like color code it or try to like just tell something else, then I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna feel genuine, right? But I like when people have something that guides them, and if that's religion or that's faith or that's whatever, then it's all good. Yeah, okay. So if you don't worship people, like that's really where I have the friction, between there's a difference between religion and organizations, what people created here down on earth, and then God. If there's something up there, then awesome. I mean, the way I see it is win-win, really. Because if you die and there's nothing, you cannot be worried of nothing, because there's nothing to process, nothing. So there's no bad ending. But if there's something, well, there's a bonus. There's something, and let's just, and I think if we want to earn it something, if really there is a need to earn something here to get it there, then that's the time to do it here on this planet, by behaving well towards each other, by talking to each other. And here's my girlfriend. Hello, yes.
What you doing?
I'm streaming because I'm streaming. You want to say hi? No? Hey, Saya. Come on, Mama. Okay, I'll be there in a few minutes, okay? I'm sorry, I got carried away. I'm sitting here for 2.5 hours. Okay? I'll be there in a few minutes.
I'm going to bed.
Uh-huh?
I'm going to the bed.
Okay, sweetie. I'll be there in a minute, okay?
Time.
Saya. Come on, Mama. Yeah. What's happening? Jesus is king. Okay, Randy. If Jesus is gone, all right, we are still going. This is Saya. She hates to sit like this. She's like, what the hell is happening here? She's my baby girl. Yeah. I have Hachi. I have another dog over there. Yeah. I never had really strong depression, but I was always pulled towards anxiety when I was younger. And I don't feel this anymore. I know how to spot it when I'm getting anxious and then turn it off. Guys, can I ask you a favor? I know it's going to be quite difficult to ask that, but I would prefer if you can if you can't help it, let's don't turn this into did you read Bible or let's get off the topic for a minute, all right? Because this is very sensitive to some people, and I don't want them to get. She's sleepy, yeah, because that's her bedtime. Ah! That's her bedtime right now. She's like, here I am. I'm just gonna chill. How about that? I'm just gonna grab my phone and go for a tour. How about that? Hey, babe. You want to say hello? I told the world that you are the best nurse on this planet. No, it's okay. She's shy. No. Get your ice pack and put it on your shoulder. Wrap yourself like burrito with ice packs.
Talking to one person?
I'm talking to people. I'll be there in a minute, babe. And this is Hachi. I have him in a crate because he is misbehaving often, and he's destroying stuff. His new addition to our family. So to prevent, he destroyed the door frame and the door and a lot of things in the house. That's why I'm trying to take care of this like this. All right, Jake, go sleep, get some rest, okay? I appreciate you being here. I really do. What helps me with anxiety? Well, go. Come back. We'll talk about it more. It's more about how you manage your thoughts and emotions, and it would be hard to squeeze it in just a couple of lines. Yeah. The quickest tip I can give you is do not take everything like too serious. Don't believe everything you think. Actually question your thoughts. Ask yourself, does this really make sense? And allow this to come to you. And oftentimes you realize it doesn't make any sense. The worries that you have makes no sense. They are not actually reflected in reality even. Oftentimes we worry about the things that are never gonna happen. Ever. Ever. That's the statue. It's Buddha. It's Buddha. Yeah. Out of really all this religious, maybe out of all the religions, I think this one I would resonate the most with because it's very close to things that I really admire, which is like psychology and how to understand your mind and attachment to thoughts and thoughts are really the problem of suffering, right? Because you think something and that determines what you're going to feel and that determines what you're going to do. But when you stop this on the level of thoughts and you already question them, you take control. You're like, wait a minute, that makes no sense. So yeah, Buddha is it's a cool thing. When you stop your thoughts, when you get curious about your thoughts and you're like, really, wait a minute. It's not like you fight with yourself or disagree with yourself. You get curious. Almost like you're watching yourself. It's like a trip, a little bit. Like you're watching yourself, like you're in a movie and you're watching yourself on the screen. Like when you have some kind of very stressful moment in your life or you really cannot get out of the spiral of something and it makes you super anxious. You have to really get to the bottom of what kind of thoughts are there behind your feelings. Because when you're already feeling it, that's too late. Well, it's not too late. You can just go back and work on identifying those thoughts and training yourself with what is most of the time triggering you and questioning, does this really make sense? And oftentimes the answer is no. So the less you believe your thoughts, the happier you get. Believe me, it's kind of counterintuitive and it's a big subject. So I'm gonna turn this into psychoanalysis. Yeah. My goodness, 2 hours and 40 minutes I've been yapping. Last thing about religion, Jake. You're really sticking around. That's awesome. Tell me, bring it on. You want to say something, or you referring to what I said? Wait a second. I was really disappointed that I couldn't make it into the Marines because of my eye. Okay, so that was something that was something that you struggle psychologically with, like that was something that gave you a lot of stress and anxiety and resentment. Is that what you're trying to say, or you're just sharing that particular experience you had? Please, the Revelations, Bible, and prophecies. I could tell you that I can make time and read this, but that's not going to make any difference. I did read those things, and I'm trying to be extremely tactful and gentle and respectful and friendly, but it's just not something that's gonna really change the way I perceive the world. Just like I would tell you to look at the world the way I look at it, and I'm not gonna even try to tell you much about it because I think you're in the right spot right now. It works for you, and who am I to change that? So yeah, I do not really. I could tell you so much about it, and you're actually tapping on the button that it's very. I actually wanted to make a YouTube channel quite a bit about the topics you're talking about, but they would go kind of far away from what you would say. But again, I'm trying to be very respectful. Am I American? I think you're trying to say. No, I'm not. I'm from Poland. How do I perceive death? Very simplistically, like I already said earlier, death is it's like the state before you were born, right? It's like the way, how I see that. All right, if you take a page, like a white page, straight from the printer, and you take a pen or pencil and you draw a straight line, finite line that starts and ends. But then all around the page you still have that white space, right? So if the way I see life and death is like when you are not here, so you are in that white space, call it whatever, universe, call it whatever. Then you hit the line. This is where the line starts. You're born. You continue on the line. You're getting older. You die, and you just fall off the line, right? Kind of. But you go back to the same thing you were on already. Even the line is on it. On that background, you have that canvas and you have the line. So you never were separated from the source. You're never separated. You just kind of jump on the line and materialize like that. So the death is just a door. The birth is the door to the life that stays on the line, that stays on the canvas, and the death is basically exit. And you're returning to the source, and you bring more information back to the source, and the source will learn itself through its own expression. If that makes sense. Jake, you know what? I like you. That's why I'm going to reply. Even though I really didn't want to talk about religion. Do you think we have a soul or spirit? We are just flesh. You're poking a bear, right? You're poking a bear, but I like you, man. Personally, I don't look at it that way because there's more ways to look at it, right? But I'm not necessarily. Today my grandma died, so what happens? Like, are you saying that your grandma died today? If that's what you're saying, okay. My condolences to you. first of all, because my mother, I was telling, she was 90. My mom passed away a few days ago too, and I'm dealing with grief myself. And here's what I'm gonna say to Jake. Okay, you see, I don't have that perception or idea of soul in this kind of. Thank you for condolences. I don't have that perception of traditional soul spirit, as we say, because it's kind of words that I cannot even define. But not necessarily we're just flesh. But if you think about it, if the energy can be created and destroyed, that means that we are basically eternal. I know it sounds wacky maybe, but the same thing is with the universe, you know? It seems to be, with what we know at the moment, that it just never had a beginning and the end. And the problem with this line of thinking is that people cannot comprehend when they're trying to comprehend, but they can visualize. Because if you look at this, like the shape of like a circle, you know, you don't have beginning or the end. It's just going around and around, infinity, right? But if energy cannot be started, created and destroyed, then when we died, I guess we are transforming in some different form of energy. You know, I am not some kind of smart guy or somebody that can tell you those things, how they for sure, nobody has those answers. You're Jake, you're off for sure, for good. But thank you so much, man. It was great. Thank you so much. I don't know if you subbed or not, but if you did, that would be cool, because maybe this will notify you next time I go back on. Yes, eternal punishment or heaven. Oh, this is like, this one I completely disagree, but I'm not gonna yank your chain before you go. Eternal punishment is absolutely against any logic and my principles. Like, why would you eternally punish someone for finite misbehaving? Makes no sense. Especially if you're saying that somebody's loving. Trying to read. Like I said, how I took that example was reincarnation. Am I correct? So you said it's a line. So reincarnation. I don't know. I know of reincarnation and how Indian traditions look at it. They have it very defined, and you know they claim to know. Oh, you sub. Thanks, Jake. I'm hoping to see you soon again. Okay. And if you do those type of streams, I'm more than happy to go and find you there and sub to you and talk to you. There is a definitely afterlife or life after. Maybe. Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as definitely, but I would say maybe, because definitely divine. When you say definitely, you what you call it, you adopt, burden of proof. And if you cannot prove it, then you cannot say definitely. I mean, you can say it, but you can't prove it, so it kind of cancels itself. You won't keep. Why are you writing in caps? It's just so hard to read, and it's just so loud. Oh, that's better. Thank you. I have experienced that. Yeah, for real. Yeah, I'm not saying, I'm not talking about reincarnation. Somebody said it, that I think Jake or somebody else. I'm sorry. Somebody asked me if that's a form of Akindo's Don't Blink. That said, I might be wrong. I'm sorry. Whoever said it, that maybe I'm referring to reincarnation, but I'm not. I'm just saying I'm not going deep into those things because we all don't know, and that's the thing. Anytime you're starting to be, pushing some kind of, I'm no for sure, definitely, then you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot, because there's no way to prove it. If there's no way to prove it, then definition is broken. I was there for 20 minutes. No, you were not dead. You were not dead. You were basically near death. Because if you're dead, you're dead. There's no like, I was dead for 20 minutes. Maybe your body didn't, didn't have vital signs. Maybe you were in some sort of, your metabolism was slow to like 1 bit per 20 minutes, because that happens in hypothermia and that happens in accidents. But this doesn't prove anything. Yeah, clinically, exactly. You're right. And that's a clinical determination of being unalived. I know they have rules right now on YouTube. You cannot say certain words on YouTube and TikTok and everything. So yeah. Wait a minute. Yeah, and you see, when we hear those stories of people say like I died or somebody said I died, this and that, this is all interesting. It's all interesting, but at the end of the day, we still cannot, know. We cannot know definitely this and that. The reason why we want to know is because it's hard to think of life ending, right, and then not being here anymore, because like it's scary. So we design biologically to hate uncertainty, and that's the biggest uncertainty you might have, or you do have. Leroy Jones, welcome on board. Hi, peace. We're talking about everything: life, death, social media, you name it. As long as it's peaceful, you are cool. You don't believe your grandma experience. Oh shoot, my phone is about to die. And they're crazy. Hey guys, listen, I love you all. It was fun as heck. I've been on it for 3 hours almost. I'll be on almost every night if I can. But I think I have like 3% on my phone. And with this, I'm gonna say good night, okay? I'm sorry. I just don't want you to think I just disappeared, but it was pleasure, okay? Please be on again, and I'll be on again, and I'm gonna listen, and I'm gonna read, and I'm going to definitely try to help everybody, because that's what I feel is my religion. Just help people carry their crosses, even though I'm non-religious, but you know what I mean. All right, good night. Yes, good night, everybody. Thank you so much. It was absolute pleasure, and I wish you peaceful night and beautiful morning. All right. I'm still reading. Netherlands. I'm in Netherlands. Okay. Goedemorgen. I've lived in Netherlands, so I was in Amsterdam and Alkmaar and Rotterdam and everywhere there. Yeah, I was young and they had the best weed when I was still on this side of the fence. All right. Peace out, all right? No, I don't speak Dutch. I just remember because I've lived there for like 3 months or so. Okay? All right, my lovely people. I'll see you around, okay? It was so cool. Trolls died off. Good people stayed. That's what it's all about. Peace out. Signing out.